Long ago, in a land where the sun kissed the earth with golden rays and the rivers flowed like veins of silver through the green fields, there was a village called God Gives. This village was blessed with fertile soil, bountiful harvests, and a people who lived in harmony with the land. But among them was a man whose heart was not as pure as the rich earth they tilled. This man was Emmanuel. The merchant Emmanuel was known far and wide, not for his generosity, but for the size of his wealth. His house stood tall in the village, adorned with treasures from distant lands. The floors were made of polished wood, the walls lined with colorful fabrics, and the air was heavy with the scent of exotic spices. But despite all his riches, Emmanuel's heart was hard and cold, like the iron coins he counted late into the night. One season, the rains were kind, and the crops grew tall and strong. Among the villagers was a humble farmer named Isaac. Isaac was not rich in gold or silver, but his heart was pure, and his hands were skilled in the ways of the earth. He worked tirelessly, from dawn until dusk, tending to his fields with love and care. And that year, his yam harvest was the best he had ever seen. The yams were as big as a man's fist, their skins smooth and golden. Isaac knew these yams would fetch a good price at the market, and he dreamed of the joy they would bring to his family. His children, with their wide, hopeful eyes, looked forward to a meal that would fill their bellies, and his wife, Elizabeth, hoped to buy cloth for new clothes for their children. With hope in his heart, Isaac loaded his yams into a woven basket and set off for the market early in the morning. The path to the village was long and winding, but Isaac's spirit was light. He hummed a tune as he walked, the rhythm of his steps in sync with the beat of his heart. When he arrived at the market, the sun was just beginning to rise, casting a warm glow over the bustling stalls. As Isaac laid out his yams, their golden skins shining in the sunlight, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. These were no ordinary yams. They were the result of his hard work and the blessings of the land. He hoped to sell them for a fair price, enough to provide for his family and maybe, just maybe, save a little for the future. As the market buzzed with the sounds of bartering and laughter, Emmanuel the merchant noticed Isaac's yams. His sharp eyes, always on the lookout for a good deal, were drawn to their size and color. He could see the potential profit in those yams, but his greedy heart wanted them for less than they were worth. Emmanuel approached Isaac, his voice smooth and sweet, like honey laced with poison. "Good morning, Isaac," he said, smiling. "I see you have brought some fine yams to the market today." But Emmanuel, with a glint of greed in his eyes, had other plans. "Ah, but you see, Isaac," Emmanuel began, "the market is not what it used to be. Times are tough, and people are not buying as much. I will take your yams, but I can only offer you half of what they are worth." Isaac's heart sank. Half the price. How could he feed his family on so little? He looked at Emmanuel, searching his face for a sign of compassion, but all he found was cold calculation. "Please, Emmanuel," Isaac pleaded. "These yams are my best harvest. They are worth more. I have a family to feed." But Emmanuel, unmoved by Isaac's words, shrugged. "Take it or leave it, Isaac. If you do not sell them to me, you may end up with nothing." Isaac knew he had little choice. The market would soon close, and he could not risk returning home with unsold yams. With a heavy heart, he agreed to Emmanuel's terms, handing over the basket of yams in exchange for a few small coins. As he walked away, the weight of the injustice pressed down on him, each step heavier than the last. Emmanuel, on the other hand, smiled to himself, pleased with his cleverness. He knew he would sell the yams for a high price, making a profit far greater than what he had paid. His greed had won, or so he thought, but what Emmanuel did not know was that the spirits of the land, the very ones who had blessed Isaac's harvest, had witnessed his treachery. These spirits, unseen but always present, were guardians of justice, and they would not let Kofi's greed go unpunished. That night, as the village slept, a great wind swept through Emmanuel's home. The windows rattled, the doors creaked, and the merchant's heart, once so filled with greed, began to tremble with fear. When the wind finally subsided, Emmanuel awoke to find his house in disarray. But worse still, when he checked his storeroom, the yams were gone. Emmanuel was furious. How could this have happened? He searched his house from top to bottom, but there was no sign of the yams. In their place, he found only a message, written in the dust on the floor. "The greedy man's gain is a fool's loss." Realizing the error of his ways, Emmanuel had no choice but to seek out Isaac and apologize. He offered the farmer a fair price for the yams, more than their worth, and promised to never again let greed cloud his judgment. And so, balance was restored. Isaac used the fair payment to provide for his family and save a little for the future, while Emmanuel learned that true wealth was not measured in gold, but in the kindness of one's heart. Thank you for watching this Tales. Do well to like, comment, and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and see you in the next tale.